Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 15th day of March here, right in the thick of these conference tournament games here. But got a lot of NFL. Kenny Pickett traded. I did not see that coming. That was like a blindside blitz, and a fumble right there. I really didn't see that one coming. Aaron Donald, the great Aaron Donald, retired. I've got Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. Gonna go over all this free agency movement, all the highlights, anyways, with him. All the craziness that's happening in the NFL. Wild week here. Let's take our first and only break, and I'll be back here with Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez in 49 seconds. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Righty then, now I'm back live with Carlos Mad New Yorker Chavez. How you doing, man?
Yo, happy Friday, everybody. How's it going?
Friday at last. Now, I've got to get up early tomorrow and work. I may cut the show short of a few minutes here, probably around 10 minutes till.
Man, my man's trying to get some sleep.
Yeah, well, I still have to download the show and upload it to Twitter or to the X app, and then get it on the Spotify and all that good stuff. And
man, you sound like a millennial, bro. Calm down, slow down.
90 miles and running. Man, were you shocked by the Kenny Pickett getting traded? I was really thrown off by that, man. I know they got Russell Wilson. What's your thoughts?
I was trying to enjoy my Friday and think of the stuff to talk about and complain about the Giants, and then Kenny Pickett. It's funny how he left the team, but he's still in Pennsylvania. It's like, what the?
Well, I read that he was a big Eagles fan growing up. He was originally grew up in New Jersey, but he played for University of Pitt. And I do have some insight on that a little bit. Apparently, he got all ticked off when he was told to going back to Mason Rudolph playing, and him being an emergency quarterback. They weren't high on Pickett. He did not want to be he didn't want to be that emergency third string quarterback or whatever. And then also I read that Pickett learned about Russell Wilson signing on social media. When they spoke to him the next morning, Tomlin told Pickett, this is from NFL Network, Tomlin told Pickett that Wilson was in the pole position and will get first-team reps. So Pickett asked to be traded. I mean, Pickett really don't want to compete. I mean, he's these young guys, you're not entitled. You have to make it not even an argument. Even if you're the number one overall pick, you still got to compete. He was 15th pick. He was going into his third year. So it sounds like there was some entitlement issues from Kenny Pickett. Then again, you got a defensive-minded head coach. If you're not a rock star quarterback, the development process is going to be altered when you're dealing with the defensive-minded head coach. We've seen that over the last few years. So I was wrong. I thought Pickett may have had a shot, but man, I'm really taken back by this. But these guys, I said it about Wilson, Justin Fields. I put this out on social media. These guys are going to have to totally start over, and just have a clean slate. Leave their ego at the door. You're no longer the big man. You're in the big leagues now. You got to fend for yourself and still have a student of the game mentality, like a Peyton Manning act like he was competing for his job every single practice. You never have that problem out of a 6th round Tom Brady type of player.
Right.
Or undersized Drew Brees or somebody like that. But aren't you taken back by the entitlement of some of these young players?
No, I wouldn't really call it entitlement. I just call it more like, naive young, guys who,
Fight it off to being young and stupid, huh?
Yeah, just, and they don't understand. They don't understand what it's like to be, in that situation. They're so young and naive. They don't get it. And that's okay if you don't, but how many, you don't want to also make a wrong mistake, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. Him saying and asking for a trade and the way his reactions are, that's just somebody who's not I guess he wants a better opportunity, right? So I'm not sure what his mindset is, but I do know one thing. He's still going to get another opportunity, so he better not react the same way. So
yeah,
he could have just been cut and not been picked up by anybody at the end of the day, right?
That would have been better for him, probably.
Right. So I don't know if that's better because then when you get cut,
he would have had a good shot to go compete in Minnesota, maybe, right? With what's his name?
Darnold.
Sam Darnold, your former Jet there.
Yeah, it's just hard to say because, like as much as we hear about what these people are saying, then this also goes to show that there's no real commitment to draft picks anyways. It's just about, and his situation, what's bad is that what Stroud has been able to do being a high draft pick has made everybody who's been a high draft pick in the last 3 seasons look bad. How about that?
Yeah.
That's what you say? Especially if you're a high draft pick expecting to come out of school and play in a professional setting. So the fact that Stroud did what he did last year, all of a sudden these owners and these coaches' heads perk up and they're like, wait a minute. If that guy can do it, why can't all these other kids do it, right? And I think that we tend to forget that all these humans are different. They have different characteristics. And this isn't, again, I keep stating this and it needs to be understood. The NFL is not a place for people to be sent to develop. It's not. Yeah. If you want to sit your quarterback, sit your quarterback. But everybody knows, like in any sport, the less you play, the less you're going to mature and you're going to get better anyways. So, I just feel like his attitude is being shown, but I don't think I'm not going to say it's necessarily unfair. He still has the opportunity to play in the NFL, so he needs to take advantage of that. How about that? Like everybody spoke well about Kenny Pickett, and now they don't speak well of him. That's like he's either like really a nice person and he's good attitude and he's somebody who wants to compete, or he's a guy who has a terrible attitude, doesn't want to compete, and he's bad juju for the team. It's either one of it can't be both. So somebody somewhere is off, and he got kicked off the team, traded to go somewhere else. So if he acts the same way in Philadelphia, then he's going to start, he's going to have.
Well, Hurts, I mean, how are you going to beat an MVP level candidate now? He's got to compete. He's definitely going to compete. He's definitely don't have a shot. He has a less of a shot to beat out a Jalen Hurts versus a Russell Wilson who's 37 years old, who could get injured, could be out. I think he just didn't like playing for Tomlin.
No, I mean, I find this as a shock, and I tell you why. It's because even if you're a backup quarterback or a third string, you're more likely to play more reps than your starting quarterback nowadays because of the fact that all these teams don't have really a good O-lines. Like, you know, like
they have a questionable O-line. That's true. I don't know
how many teams
what
this year had their backup and the third string quarterback play. Like, it was a lot. So
yeah,
what are you worried about? The problem, this is why these athletes worry about it, is because if you're considered a second string or third string quarterback, the amount that you get paid is less.
Yeah.
Obvious, right? So you don't want to be known as a backup quarterback because you're not going to get that 10 mil plus, right?
Yeah. Well,
you know,
for one thing, he was not even considered that. I mean, he's actually probably making a little more because he's a first round guy.
Right. But I'm just saying, like,
Russell signed for the league minimum.
Right. So, but that tends to matter if you're a backup quarterback and you're not a starting quarterback, that will change how much you get paid for sure.
He's in a worse situation right now.
No matter what he's doing, he's just listen. He's on a new team. If he gets to play, fine. If he doesn't, that's up to him at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe the flip side is the way Jalen Hurts runs. Maybe he could get hurt, and you know, he didn't run enough. This guy ran at the University of Pittsburgh like nobody's business,
right?
You know, and he looks very hesitant as a Steeler to do anything like that. I mean, he's almost like he was overthinking it at times.
Did you not see that offense was terrible even before he was the quarterback? The offense was terrible. No matter what quarterback Pittsburgh put out there in the last 2 seasons, that offense looked terrible. So even if I gave you the ball and said, go run the offense, you know, Butler, go out there and run this offense, you're going to be hesitant and be like, I don't trust
it. It looked like a car that the transmission was going out. You know, it wouldn't quite get into gear, you know.
I mean,
it don't look like a Sean McVay car. That's like a new car that runs good. It's got good it's got a V8 engine in it. This car's got like transmission problems. It's got what is that other thing? When you got the gear shift, I forgot what that's called. Clutch problems. The head gasket may be blown. I mean, it's just it's Tomlin. Tomlin's the problem.
No, I don't know if he's
he's good enough not to get fired. I've been telling people this for years now.
I told this to Keith this morning. If this Pittsburgh Steelers team, because I don't believe Arthur is a good coordinator. I don't think him and
Mike Tomlin better hope he is.
I don't think Wilson.
They're kind of running out of people to blame, you know.
I know. I just don't think they mesh together well. Russell Wilson and Arthur, and that was horrible last year in that offense. Even when they got a new coordinator, it picked up maybe one more touchdown, maybe one more field goal extra. Like, it was horrible to watch, man. This offense for Pittsburgh,
they couldn't get it out of gear, man.
2 seasons. So, and that's what I told Keith. I was like, if they're gonna not score any points and be the same as last year, I don't even want to watch any games that they're gonna play. You know, like, I don't care how
hard to watch. Those
I don't care how good the rival is. It's not a rival if there's no points being put on the board. Like, golly, it was terrible.
He's like Pete Carroll. They're like the same guy, you know. They had their success about 10, 12 years ago, and they just run the same plays over and over again.
Well, he's not running the offense.
Their defense is good enough. Their defense is better than Seattle's as of late, but still, you know.
It's the offense that they can't get off the schneid. Come on, dude. Let's do something. Score some points.
Man.
You know?
Man, you've replaced the carburetor. It's like, everybody knows it's Tomlin, you know?
They're going to change the color
they're going to change the color. They're going to get new tires. And it's just going to be the same piece of crap car, you know? Like, but I do, like I said, I give more blame to Pickett from the way he handled it. But he'll learn. And maybe he takes off with. I mean, I feel,
and you're talking about entitlement. I mentioned something that's very important because a lot of people who move away. He's still in Pennsylvania. Like, he didn't have to, like, what?
Well, he loved the Eagles growing up. There's a photo of him with the Eagles.
What is it got to go, like, across a couple hours to the other side of the state, and it's not that far. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, they're not that far from each other, like 2-hour drive. I mean,
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I got to get you amped up about the Giants. What do you think about the Brian Burns trade? They gave up one of their the draft pick, the second round pick from the Leonard Williams trade that really didn't help out Seattle like they thought it would. Yeah, I know it was a big move there. They seem to be kind of stuck with. Well, we know they're stuck with Daniel Jones for a year. What's your thoughts on the Giants offseason so far?
This morning I mentioned to Keith, I think they got like a C-, a D. They like loaded up on defense, which they were already okay.
They're kind of like Pittsburgh in a way.
Yeah, I mean, just like I'm thinking you only scored 15, average 15 points a game, barely.
Yeah.
Like in the games that you score more, they didn't even matter, like they didn't win more than 7 games. So they lost a running back that was scoring points and got a running back that doesn't score points, or maybe he gets a little bit more.
Who is their running back now?
Singletary.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Devin Singletary.
And I'm not saying he's. I think he's a number 2. If anything, I don't think he's a number 1. Right? Like I think he's more of a complimentary.
They got Drew Lock now. He may break out.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Then they got Drew Lock.
Tease.
I do like that they picked up a few linemen. I like that they picked up Illuminor, and then they picked up Runyon. I do like that.
Yeah. But he's got name recognition.
Those are just 2 guys. Are they blocking for either Daniel Jones? What are they doing? Like why they didn't get they got this guy from Buffalo again in the wide receiver, like keep hitting up on that Buffalo line of people that are mediocre. Like who'd
they get from Buffalo?
Isaiah McKenzie.
Oh, Isaiah McKenzie. Yeah,
he's not bad, but I'm like,
he's like a 3rd or 4th receiver.
Well, at least they didn't get Keenan Allen. If they would have got Keenan Allen, I would have been upset.
Really? Wow. He's older?
Because he's older. He's barely on the field. It'd be like the pick that they made this year with the tight end coming in from the Raiders.
Remember, I told you I thought that the Chargers could possibly move on from both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I told you that. They should have done that last year. Remember? Yeah. Because you're like, you told me on paper that this team was the team to beat because they had such a stout wide receiver core. And I said to you, their wide receiver core looks on paper all right, but those guys don't stay on the field anyways.
Well, Allen didn't want to take a pay cut.
Yeah, I mean, like he
wanted his $23 million, and Mike Williams is hurt all the time.
Right. So
I definitely endorse the Mike Williams. Then I realized Keenan Allen's 32.
Yeah,
he's expensive, but I also talked about Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's kind of they're not really sure about Quentin Johnson, the rookie out of TCU, but they may end up drafting Odunze or somebody may offer him a package to move up.
I mean, I don't, what do you, if you're the Giants and you messed up your opportunity from since last year, what are you supposed to do? Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I told you the other day, they probably just take the best to play. If you're going to draft a quarterback, make sure you got your I's dotted. You don't want to get another Daniel Jones. Or like I talked with Keith, you don't want to get a Jake Locker. He's like, he ain't that bad. Christian Ponder, the guy who married an ESPN girl, Sam Ponder. You don't want those guys who all out selling insurance right now. You want to get a guy that's going to get in there and compete and make sure he's a talented player.
Not for nothing, but everybody talks about the Giants. The Giants have had guys like that too. They've had David Brown. They've had Jesse Palmer. They've had David Carr. So
they hadn't really had a talented guy since Eli.
They've had guys.
He wasn't a world beater.
And Eli was Eli, and he won us.
They've never had a great offense, have they?
No, and I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking about Eli, but his stats compared to other guys, comparatively speaking, for that era, that time frame, he wasn't in the top.
Tom Coughlin wanted to run the ball, stop the run,
but he did he did his job and deservedly won, and got the team to where they're supposed to be. So, but defensively also, like they were, they made it a better situation for Eli to work with. So, I mean, look, they get a C-, a D from me. Some people are saying they're getting a B because of all this defense, but defense will win you games, but you still got to score points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and
I'm okay with the Barkley thing.
That's business, man. That's business.
Yeah.
And again,
did you hear about Tiki Barber and him going back and forth?
So in the media here in New York, it's all blown out of proportion. Like,
I think he was just kind of kidding around halfway.
Yeah, and you know what? And Tiki can feel how Tiki wants to feel. Like, he has a right. He's played for the Giants. He's a running back from the Giants. But I mean, to be honest with you, the people who dropped the ball is the same people that Tiki Barber is supporting anyways. Tiki Barber supports Schoen and he supports Daboll, and they're both terrible. So, terrible things will happen to people who are terrible because they make terrible decisions.
Terrible.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt like that with Charles Barkley's face on it. I keep saying that you can't get mediocre type personnel as a GM and a head coach and expect excellence. That's not how that works. So
I think ownership would move on if they take a guy like a JJ McCarthy and you find out he's mediocre and you wasted another pick.
If they pick JJ McCarthy, man, I'm already not buying tickets to these games. So I don't.
When's the last time you've been to a Giants game?
Probably look like maybe once right after COVID.
Oh, really?
Once, yeah. And then after that, I was like, no.
I haven't been to the Titans game in several years.
I can't support this. I can support this team, but I cannot be paying what I'm paying to enjoy myself and watch these games.
Right.
It's not feasible to me. It's not fun, man. Like, it's not fun going out there blowing money and then not winning. That's terrible. Yeah. So
you're a big Sam Howell guy. What do you think about Sam Howell getting dealt?
Good for him. Good, and he's in a.
I think would he go Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle. This is a good situation for him. It worked out better for him that he was patient. It's good. Maybe it's good that he's not on the Jets. That's the Jets dropping the ball in that situation.
Oh, you mean not go to the Jets? Yeah.
So he's gonna have an opportunity. I think he's handling the situation a lot better than Pickett's handling the situation, right?
Yeah.
So
Pickett felt entitled because he went to Pittsburgh and he's drafted 15th overall. I think whatchamacallit was like a 4th or 5th round pick.
Yeah, I think Howell will be okay. I think he's in a good situation. I think he has a better head on his shoulders anyways. And the way he commands and
kind of fell off at the end, maybe because
that wasn't his fault, man. Everybody was falling off of that team. They freaking
they quit on Rivera.
Team. Yeah, then they started selling off pieces to the chips. So.
Yeah, they did trade Montez Sweat to the Bears.
Yeah, and then they got rid of Young. So
Chase Young still hadn't got picked up. Maybe Young was just overrated. I don't know.
Yeah, they were saying that he didn't follow any of the schemes and he didn't want to be at practice.
Is Chase Young the Jadeveon Clowney of his class where he had all that hype? Remember, Clowney had so much hype, dude.
Look,
number 1 pick, Clowney, never really quite got there. Number 2 pick, Young. Now, Young's been more injured, but don't you think he would have got picked up by now?
Look, I say this, and I don't want to downplay it because I'm not playing. I'm not the athlete and star athlete that these guys are, but Clowney was still getting sought after even after he had bad seasons.
That's true.
So I don't know what kind of who his agent is, but he's always ended up being signed after he's gone from one team to another. So
there's always like a bidding war for him.
Yeah. So
he's inconsistent.
Some people
love Cleveland. They'll take anybody. They'll probably end up getting Chase Young. Cleveland.
Some people love to be miserable, So it's like they get this guy and they expect a lot from him, but he's not no Dominic Sue. And Dominic Sue. So
Sue.
I think Sue was better than Buffalo.
A little bit more consistently.
Yeah.
Once he left Detroit.
Like I said, I'm not trying to talk bad about Clowney. I'm just saying he was always, even before he was available.
He never quite lived up to it, though.
He might not have lived up to the hype, but people were still signing him. And I think today, isn't he still playing? Did he retire yet? No, he didn't retire.
I think he's taking a lot of visits.
It's like finally, people are like, I don't know if we're gonna take. I don't know if we can pay him $1 million.
Right, and he holds out. I mean, Steve
hey.
Spurrier says basically he works when he wants to. He don't bring it every day.
And
That's what Spurrier was saying.
And if
going back to his college days.
Yeah, and if it's something that he's been doing and he's done, and people still want him on the team. So
yeah,
how's that?
Yeah, I don't want to waste too much time on an edge rusher. Hey, so what are your thoughts? I didn't ask your thoughts about Russell Wilson. Now that he's a Steeler, is he going to resurrect his career? Or is this going to be about the same as it was?
Yeah, people keep saying stuff. I mean, he's 36, right?
Yeah. I think they'll be okay, but they're not going to be great.
Even last year, he did okay. The only reason he wasn't in the playoff is because Denver Broncos benched him.
So you think they're going to be in the playoffs and win some games?
I think the Steelers' defense is good enough to help Russell Wilson be in good situations, to him not have to make mistakes and think hard about what he has to do on the football field as an offensive-minded player. And I don't know that he can do what he did in Denver because I don't like how Arthur calls games offensively. So
okay.
And if Arthur takes the ball away from him to make decisions that he's good at making, because he's one of those guys who can make decisions on the run.
Well, didn't he win more when Sean Payton took the ball? Remember, they beat the Chiefs running 40 times. He did 8 rushes himself.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, but I'm talking about just not putting him in the game.
Okay, I thought you was trying to say let Russ cook. I mean, come on.
No. I'm just
he's done burned. He's burned a few things. We can't let him cook.
No. What I'm saying,
we had to get a fire extinguisher and put that fire out.
No, I'm saying just you know who Russell Wilson is. Don't make him do things that he's not going to be good at. Mm-hmm. Right. So you know his plan. Guys know how to stop him. There's nothing new about Russell Wilson.
Run, play off, let him run some.
And another thing,
or play action, excuse me.
And he's still pretty quick for his age anyways. He's a lot faster than people give him credit for. So, but don't go out there and put him on an island, man. Like, and then get upset. Well, why didn't you run? Because, bro, you told me XYZ, like you tell me.
I wouldn't put him in the shotgun and have him throwing 30 times a game.
I mean, come on. Like, you should know better. And that to me, I think that Sean Payton being lazy and thinking, I don't care how this season goes. I do what I want. So, because he's like that. He was like that in Louisiana too. So, he got a couple seasons where he was like, whatever, I'm not,
Well, basically, they're just rebuilding now.
So
Denver is. They're starting over from scratch.
And I will say this about Russell Wilson. He's going to win you at least 3 or 4 games. Maybe not 5 or 6 like when he was younger. Yeah. But he's going to win you 3 or 4 games. So,
it'll be an interesting.
Don't force it on him, bro.
I don't think he's going to win that division, but they'll probably do what they did last year. Maybe win a game in the playoffs. Something Tomlin hadn't done since 2016. But that's a tough division, man. The Ravens lost players, but they didn't lose that many players.
I know. And then
and Cleveland got better. I like Judy going to Cleveland.
Here we go.
Second receiver there, Njoku.
Yeah, what they saying?
But I still like Burrow with Cincinnati. The bet. Don't get me wrong. Even though they lost some players too.
Yeah, I was watching some football show and Slareth was like, "Well, Judy he's not a good wide receiver. He's just a good athlete." And I was like,
"Who's that?"
Slareth from the center. Slareth from Denver.
What did he say?
He said that Judy.
Judy, yeah.
Yeah,
he says he's very immature and
right.
Can't catch a cold sometimes.
If he's saying that, because he's close to the team and everything. He was reporting for them.
Yeah, I was just talking about Schleff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if he has that take on him, man, because you can tell that he's athletic.
Oh, Judy, he killed it at Alabama. He had flashes at Denver.
Yeah, but I don't, when he started talking about him having problems and not being a good wide receiver, I was like, that may be possible. So now why are you blaming Russell Wilson? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Whatever.
He's a guy who calls balls and strikes. He
said that about Russell Wilson too. He said Russell Wilson is not a good quarterback anymore. And I'm like,
well, he misses some throws across the middle.
But you're talking about 36-year-old bro, like quarterback. I mean, as much as I like Russell Wilson, as a fan of Russell Wilson, and I'm not a fanboy, but I respect his game. And I respect what he's done. I'm not going to expect him to willfully carry the Steelers 6 or 7 games like he's carried Seattle in the past. To me, that's ridiculous when people in their contracts and people in representation are saying, oh, this is so-and-so. He's now 34, 35 years old. And think that you're going to get the same work that he did when he was 29, 30, 31. Like that.
But
that's
a
not
lot
how
of
that
it,
works.
he couldn't connect with his teammates. He had
Because
his
he's
own.
36 years old. That's why.
Well, you're not supposed to be Brady did it, even though it looked a little cheesy and corny sometimes.
Brady came with 7 championships.
Yeah. Well, Russell's got a ring. He had a
but
ring
people
coming
don't
in.
People don't think he deserved it. People not saying Russell Wilson was not.
He had, you're making my point. This is what Schlereth was saying, and guys like Colin Cowherd who loved Russell Wilson. He had problems with his teammates, saying he was a phony in Seattle. It got worse when they called that passing play in the Super Bowl.
Right.
The Malcolm Butler interception that should have went to
ran it.
to the what's that guy? Beast Mode. Yeah. Should have went in there. But he had the same problems in Denver with Nathaniel Hackett as a coach with his teammates. Then he had problems with Sean Payton. At some point, Russell Wilson's got to say, maybe my approach isn't working. That's what Schlereth and Colin Cowherd, guys who love Russell Wilson, are saying.
Yeah, and again, you're 36.
And I like Russell Wilson too, but I got to listen to some of the criticisms. Maybe that's legit,
Right? And listen, what do you got? A season 2 more left? Come on, let's
he's yesterday's news, and I think this could be Tomlin's last year. If this thing blows up,
I said before, and we talked about this. If Tomlin leaves, it's because he's going to leave on his own will, not because they're going to force him out.
They won't fire him,
right.
And he'll probably leave on his own. He's getting grouchy and grumpy up there anyway.
No, who won't in that age? That age, you're already,
He's not that old. He's worn down. I got to ask you about Tennessee. They lose Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
They had a very busy week, man. What do you think about Calvin Ridley being Titans snatching Calvin Ridley right out the hands of Jacksonville, who's dragging their feet on Saturday?
Right. I don't understand what's up with Jacksonville. They had all this future. They were looking good. They were going up. They were not even peaking yet. They had maybe a season or 2 to be championship caliber team, and now they're back to where they started when they lost Bortles, Blake Bortles. So I don't
know about going that far. Yeah, they had to go Blake Bortles. That's another guy overdrafted.
Believe it, because I already told you, and I told Keith, and I told everybody, and I tell everybody else, I don't believe in Peterson. I don't think he's a good coach, and I don't think he'd be able to bring this guy. I don't think he's a quarterback whisperer, and he's not going to help this quarterback with no weapons.
If Peterson doesn't get it done this year, this would be the 3rd coach for Lawrence. Is Lawrence overrated?
I think a lot of people have said this lately, and I've watched a show where Shady, the former running back for
LaShawn
McCoy, former running back for the Bills and the Eagles,
and everybody, yeah.
He saw him as just a regular quarterback. He didn't see him special because all the teams he's been on have always had some kind of weapons. So he didn't feel like he was anything special. So, and now I think more and more people, the scouts, what else were they going to say, right? Now that he's on a team, and they're hoping for him to be the special one, and he's not producing, people who said he was special starting to kind of go back on the word and be like, maybe he's just okay.
He was so hyped through college.
And
LeVar Arrington calls him football Jesus.
I like that take from Shady. Because he's very, he's very forward, and he's blunt. He's not gonna hold back on his punches, and I think that's a good assessment by him. Because as much as he talks positive about the Bills, I really can't stand when he does that. But that's his former team, so it's whatever.
Well, he played for Kansas City too. He kind of just held on there at the end.
Yeah, but
he was never really quite the guy at Philadelphia. He was great at Philadelphia for about 4 years.
Yeah, and I think he holds more
A grudge?
I think he holds
Little
more
bit.
on that Eagles, team.
Remember he called out Eric Bieniemy a few years ago.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Shady, he says some things and
Shady, it can be shady sometimes.
Yeah, I like, but I like that he's honest, man. And
no, I like McCoy, man.
And from that position to talk about that quarterback, I think he made some points, some valid points.
Well, that's a fair criticism. Trevor Lawrence is a long strider. He's got to quit running so much. He's going to have to shorten his stance. He's going to have to check down more. He's got a very tight competition here. Will Levis, I think you heard me and Keith the other night. He could explode this year. They've got Tony Pollard. They've got a new center. They've got DeAndre Hopkins. They've got Calvin Ridley. Man, I've seen some of his highlights. He could catch the ball in traffic.
Yeah, the thing about Levis is
they got an offensive-minded head coach. That's what I want him to have.
I just got to see what's his durability like, and can he make the short throws instead of just?
He's another guy. He was greedy last year a lot.
Yeah,
he doesn't have pocket awareness, which means you got to fill that pass rush, and I'm sure that's what Callahan's going to work on first thing. I got these running. We spent $8 million this year alone on a guy named Tony Pollard, and we got Spears.
I don't know why they gave him so much money. I would have been okay with Devin Singletary going to the Titans, then going to the Giants.
They could have got Devin for $6 million. I do feel like he did overspend a little bit. Now he's 3 years younger than Henry. Henry's a Raven. He's 3 years younger than Henry. A lot of people's making a big deal out of Henry being a Raven. If they try to give Derrick Henry the ball out of the shotgun, which primarily that's what Lamar's in, they're not going to get nothing accomplished there.
Nothing. Don't do it.
3 yards and -1.
Why? Just run the I formation, stick a lineman or a big D lineman in front of Henry, make the first wrenching hole, and then just let Henry run through.
He would be good with the 49ers, He really would. And so the Titans, I don't know what to expect, but there's some optimism, and I'm a balls and strikes guy. I don't drink Kool-Aid. Yeah. It's a good signing. A lot of people think it's a little much. I don't for Ridley. It was $50 million guaranteed through 4 years. 4 years in this market. That's not bad. He's 29 years old.
It's not bad.
Now, if he has another off-the-field issue, that would be a problem.
But the problem with that signing is the fact that, with Pollard and with the Ridley thing is like they're going for the gut punch, but, they need to be careful because they still got to fix that O-line.
Well, they signed a center, okay. By the way, they cut Andre Dillard, the one guy that my man Rich said that Mike Vrabel picked. They cut him today, Andre Dillard. They're going to get Joe Alt or Fashanu from Penn State. They're going to get one of them two. At left tackle, they've got Sonorski, who is a hit at guard, at left guard. They're good. The line's going to be a lot better. And they got one of the best offensive line coaches in the business in Bill Callahan, the father of Brian Callahan, the father-son thing, kind of like your boy Jalen Brunson and his dad with the Knicks. I think that's going to be a good 1-2 combo there. Now, I don't know about this defensive coordinator. He was a DB coach with the Ravens. They picked up a linebacker from the Chargers there. So they look really good. And plus they got Mason Rudolph.
Well, how about this? They've done a
better
job as a
backup quarterback.
They've done a better job than like the Bills or even the Panthers.
Bills cut their entire secondary the other day.
They're doing okay. They'll be all right. The Titans will be, you know what? The Titans will be all right because the Jaguars pretty much,
Houston got a big time player. They got Danielle Hunter.
Right.
And a lot of people's talking about Houston already picking them to win the division. Remember, Jacksonville's got a new defensive coordinator. and they still got money. They got Peter Gabriel Davis at receiver from Buffalo. They still got Christian Kirk here. So they're not bad off, but they got to get it together because Houston seems legit.
Yeah, and I think they
And then I didn't mention the Colts.
No, they crapped the bed like the Cincinnati Bengals too. The Cincinnati Bengals look like a shell of a team now.
Well, they lost DJ Ritter, their defensive lineman. Tennessee got their cornerback, Awuzie Way or whatever his name is. They've lost some players, but they still got some money there. I would move off Higgins, but they're probably going to keep him and sign him. I'd move off Higgins and rebuild. I think they got a pretty good tight end the other day too.
Yeah, I'd be all right if Higgins and Ayuk ended up on the Giants. I'd be all right.
Wow.
They'd be like, you know what? That's a good season. But
so that will make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, because
there's nothing like a good flashy wide receiver. That kind of pumped me up, and I'm not a big wide receiver guy. The Titans got Calvin Ridley. That was a pretty good pick because Jacksonville was dragging their feet on the guy, you know?
I don't know what the Giants are doing over there. They want to draft guys and hope for the best, and that's not how you build a team.
Man, they probably need to pick up Brock Bowers or somebody.
I'm telling you.
Take the best available player at 6, I think they got, right?
Would you be scared of the Giants? Well, I wouldn't say scared of them, but would you be surprised? Wouldn't the Giants be a surprising team if they had Ayuk and on the other side they had Higgins?
Oh, no, they shouldn't get don't get 2 wide receivers.
Listen.
Don't do that, man. That's stupid. Not you, but that's just not a good move, man.
It's better than what they're doing now. They got to score points.
It wasn't a good deal for Cincinnati. They should have took Penei Sewell. They probably win that Super Bowl. I like Higgins, but you can't have him and Chase. They're going to pay Chase. They're going to pay Chase. They finally got rid of Mixon. I could have told them that last year.
They should have got rid of him 2 years ago.
Man, right? I got to look at the Bengals depth chart now. Now you got me worried about them. Darren Waller's still a Giant. Why is Darren Waller still a Giant?
Because he got a nice little contract that keeps him there.
I mean, he's been contemplating retiring for a week. So he don't get retired. Oh, they got Zach Moss. Mike Gesicki, the tight end there. Some guy named Jackson Carman at right tackle. They did lose their Jonas Williams or whatever his name is to Arizona.
Right.
So DJ Humphries is still out there. The Titans could possibly get him. Brought Von Bell back, Mike Hilton at cornerback, and some guy named DJ Ivy. Might as well be DJ Envy there up in New York, but for all I know, they're actually sitting on their hands, Chief. They got money, but that old man that runs Cincinnati, he's a cheap piece of crap, and maybe Burrow should just push his way out of town.
Hey,
wouldn't you like to see Burrow with the Giants?
I'd rather see
over
Burrow
Mike Brown's dead body.
I would rather see Burrow with the Jets.
Oh man, that would be hype right there.
Because with the Giants, I don't think they would go for a guy like Burrow. He's too much profile for the Giants. The Giants like that whole square. I read the book on being.
Speaking of the Jets, so what do you think about Rodgers possibly being the vice president for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
What I've heard. I heard this
and he's
morning,
still not shooting it down. I mean, he's killing me with that stuff.
What a piece of work, this guy. Listen, yeah. I was watching Carton show on this morning.
Oh, Greg Carton, okay.
And I heard him say, Jersey would vote for him to be vice president, or if he was terrible, he was going to get that. Aaron Rodgers would have got voted for vice president, whether they want him to be vice president or whether they want him out of the Jets. So either way, he was going to get Jersey to vote for him. So, that's how
he's making a good point.
Yeah. So that's how terrible the situation
costs too much money at this point. And
oh my gosh, these guys.
Yeah. I think you got one more year with Rodgers. I'm surprised Zach Wilson. They can't give him away. They'll probably end up cutting him.
I mean, I told you he wasn't
Yeah.
worth the peanut shells. That was
What do you
left
think
in the
about
fridge.
Kirk Cousins? I mean, what this guy's won one playoff game and got another big $100 million contract.
He got a nice agent, man. You got to call his
Man,
agent.
he's got the best agent in the country.
I mean, one playoff game.
One playoff win. I read something. He's made more than Tom Brady.
Yep,
I mean,
$332 million.
guy, you can't
And
make this stuff up.
Tom's made 250 or 252, and this guy's made 340.
And it's going to be all guaranteed.
But you know what? Not for nothing, but even though he's gotten all this money, he's made all this money, and been on these teams, he has bet on himself. And he's gone out there and done what he has done.
You like that. You like that.
Yeah. And he's been out there. He made his name, like he made it known. He's made it known.
They'll be a decent team. What do you think about they did get some players now. Darnell Mooney.
They look like the Dodgers, but like the Dodgers, they don't win the World Series every year either. So that's
an insult to the Dodgers, but I'll let that go.
I respect what the owner's doing down there, and he's trying.
Yeah,
but you can buy, you can buy everyone if you want, but at the end of the day, they got to go on the field and play. So,
well, they'll probably end up winning that. They'll be battling Tampa. But they got a pretty good roster too, man.
Yeah, well, so did San Diego, and we saw what happened to them. So,
well, now they got Raheem Morris. I think Morris and that general manager, they say, you know what? We'll get job security. We'll get Boy Wonder up there in Minnesota, and he'll get us to the playoffs, and that'll give us 3 or 4 more years. Kind of like whatchamacallit down in Tampa. But Cousins, he's never going to get you over the top. He'll get you up the mountain. He'll take you on a good hike, but you're never going to get over the mountain. You're going to be stuck at the mountain. You're never going to get to the top. You're never going to get the good view. You're going to be stuck around mid. So you might get eaten by a mountain lion, which is the owner getting frustrated with Kirk Cousins. Why not go for Matt? Hopefully they'll draft somebody. They traded Ritter out somewhere. I forgot where they traded.
My man's hoping for a Mount Everest trip sometime soon.
Man, I'm telling you, you're never going to get over anything with Kirk.
Look, there's a lot of teams in this league, and only one's going to be champions. So,
yeah, but he's never going to get you there. He'd be lucky to win a play. He don't have a winning record in primetime. He's 12-20, but he still gets this money. Jim Jeffcoat says he's Beaver Cleaver, like Leave It to Beaver. He'll tell you anything the parents want to hear, and then they love him,
Yo, how many people know that show, man? Like,
he just talk. I mean, I can't believe this dude has made that much money, but
he's made some money.
It is what it is. Go ahead and plug what. Oh, yeah. They got Rondale Moore, Drake London, Rondale Moore from Arizona, Kyle Pitts, of course, and Bijan Robertson. I mean, that's a really good team on paper. Offensively, they're going to score some points. The new Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan will just,
Cousins,
choke artists right there. And Matt Ryan didn't care. He said, listen, we're going paid on Tuesday morning anyways. I mean, that was Matt Ryan's forte, man.
This man said.
I mean, that's why he elected. I mean, Brady come back, beat him. He's like, hey, listen, guys, let's not get too upset. The check's still in the mail. Got direct deposit on Tuesday. Everything's everything.
This guy.
Yeah. So
we wasn't going to beat that team.
We weren't going to beat him. He's a legend over there. We're just kind of hanging out in Atlanta. We got a nice, comfortable dome.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's like he didn't really. Sometimes I think he wanted to lose in some of them games. Anything else about the free agency, man, that stuck out with you?
I mean, there's a few more hours left, right? There's a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's still players out there, but a lot of the major. Who knows what's going to happen to Justin Fields?
Who knows?
He's another guy. He's
a heavy.
He's going to have to prove himself all over again.
That's a hefty contract, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you serious on Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern? That has not changed?
That hasn't changed. I got back on there this morning. We had a little hiatus and then some technical issues, but we back.
Tupac back, baby.
I'm back. And then, night times I'm on with you, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We kick it on Fridays. Tuesdays, got a new show called What the Fork. What the Fork Ball with Brian, my co-host Valiente, and so we talk.
Now, is that every Tuesday?
That's every Tuesday now. Look, I've been running around. It's at 9:00 every Tuesday. I had an issue.
PM or AM?
PM.
Okay,
I had an issue this past week.
I've been meaning to check that show out, man.
It's on YouTube now, and it's on all the podcasts.
Let's talk sports.
Let's talk sports, and so you guys check it out. We talk New York baseball, just the Mets and the Yankees. Right now we are wrapping up the spring, season. We're getting ready for the regular season to start.
That's cool.
A lot of stuff going on in NYC, man.
Woo!
Singer's got a bad arm.
Baseball's gonna be fun, man.
Derek Cole's got a bad elbow. Judge looking like Judge missing games left and right. It's crazy. And then the season ain't even start yet, so it's gonna get juicy. Like a big fat hot dog on us.
I hope Judge is healthy. He's fun to watch, man.
Nah, I mean, it's hard to get these guys healthy and stay healthy. So I don't know. That's on Tuesday nights at 9:00 on Let's Talk Sports Network. And then we have the Northeast Division talk show host with Alan Perez.
But you said that's on hiatus.
That's on hiatus, but we're gonna be meeting up soon and talking about the draft, and then we're gonna do some stuff about that. So
okay,
yeah. You know what? I do what I do. I do what I can. You know what I'm saying? So
like Tupac would say. Thanks, Chad. Got a great crowd. Appreciate it, Carlos.
Have a great weekend. Don't sleep in. You got to work.
Man, I do. Trust me, I'm dreading it, brother.
Happy St. Patty's Day, people.
Yeah. Happy St. Patty's Day. Thanks, buddy.